What is your opinion of the state of rap music right now, currently in Detroit? What do you make of it? Took a deep breath there. Another one.
It's disorganized and it's chaotic. See, when I speak about this, I don't want people to take it specifically at heart because there's a lot of cats out here that are not doing this, but it's starting to lack originality. We used to be a city of trendsetters, and now we're becoming a city of followers. And the music is starting to reflect that a lot, you know what I mean? And personally, as far as the music campaign that goes in the city, as far as me being an artist in the city, I just don't feel like I should spend a lot of money, resources, or time inside of my city promoting my music and the movies and the things that I do. I'd rather promote outside of the city, garner the respect, and then come back to the city, and then the city is like, oh yeah, I knew you were going to make it. So that's basically what I feel about the industry right now as far as Detroit hip-hop goes.
Can this be fixed?
I mean, the old adage is, you know, we lack unity, and that's been the question for the last 15, 20 years in the industry. So anything is possible. Anything is definitely possible. But do I see it coming in the next 2 or 3 years? It has to be something traumatic. I hate to say this, but something traumatic has to happen for all the heads who have all this type of power and juice, including myself, to really sit down at the table and be like, enough is enough. Okay? This is how we're going to move. This is how it's going to operate. But until that happens, no, because everybody has the ulterior motives. Everybody has an agenda. And Detroit is the I have to win the race first city. You know what I mean? I've always been a team player. In order to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. So sometimes it's not always about you. You know, you have to play the back sometimes and help something else push, but in the long run, it's going to help you too. And our city just can't grasp that concept. You know, we get small factions of people that work together in the city, but that's not enough. You know what I mean? And it seems like the city is just, I don't know if it's overly saturated, like gas stations and hair salons on the corner with Detroit rap, but the support on the local level is just almost next to nil, man. You know what I mean? It's virtually invisible. You know what I mean? It's not there like it should be that I can see in other places. I visited Vegas, man, and I went to a open mic set, and I couldn't believe how many regular consumers were in there because I'm so used to going to these open mic scenes and rapping for rappers instead of rapping for consumers. And that's, our city don't get behind us. And two, you go out of town or you got LeBron on there talking about hit the rollies with the rollies on. Now everybody in the city like, oh yeah, that's my man. I knew he was gonna make it. Then you know what I'm saying? Oh, he been out here grinding and y'all wasn't supporting him. But not since they said he's good, my city, now the city like you good. You know what I'm saying? When it should be exact opposite. The city should say we good and the rest of the world gonna say it. Because Detroit is a proving ground for music. They send it to our market to test stuff. And we get a lot of garbage, and we love a lot of garbage. You know what I mean? For some strange reason, but it is what it is. I'm not mad at nobody, what they do and how they make their money, but I'll call a spade a spade. You know, I like good music, and my opinion is just that. But that's the problem with Detroit. You know, I don't see it ever happening in the near future. No time soon, unless something major happens, something, you know, something traumatic. It has to be something traumatic. Just like funerals bring families back together, has to be something traumatic to bring all the heads of all the factions together, because egos.
What about that movement? I forgot the phrase. What is it? Everybody against Detroit? Detroit versus everybody?
Detroit versus everybody?
Right. What about that? When that slogan was created, and did that bring unity to the city? From the outside, it seemed like it did.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
From the outside looking in, it looked
because the campaign was so big, and shout out to them boys. The campaign was so big that it made us, because that's what Detroit, we feel like down there, that it feels like nobody wants to give us our break, and it feels like the whole world is against us, so we felt that energy. But it was very short-lived as far as the whole movement. you know what I mean, getting behind it and just stand behind it. Then it slowly but surely became Detroit versus Detroit, because the same mentality has taken back over again. We forgot about the whole being inspired by it, you know what I mean? And like, yes, you're right, it's us against the world. You know, so that's pretty much how I feel about the scenario right now. It's not as big as it was. It doesn't have, the mission statement is still strong, but the people are just not feeling it like they once were, as far as I'm concerned.
From the outside looking in, somebody watching this might say, Detroit looks fine because, you know, as far as commercial success, they see a Dej Loaf, they see a Big Sean, they see a T Grizzly recently. Right. They see Jay-Z tweeting about T Grizzly.
Right.
When you see stuff, when somebody sees stuff like that from the outside looking in, somebody might say, Detroit looks fine. I don't see what the problem with Detroit, this unity, and it looks fine to us.
Well, that's the difference of being on the inside and recognizing that for every one Dej Loaf, for every one T Grizzly, for every one Big Sean, is 15 other guys just as talented. The city is not hurting for talent. I know some remarkable, I'm talking about phenomenal, remarkable. If I had the money myself, I would put everything behind them and guarantee that if not half the planet, more than half the planet will love these people, love these artists, love what they do. But we don't have opportunity. We don't have labels down in Detroit. We don't have the big labels down there. The A&R thing is all over with now. So we don't have the opportunity that other regions have at their disposal, where they can just go down the street and keep hammering these guys for their music, or you running into a DJ Smallz or something like that on the street and be like, here, check me out, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot tougher down there.
But after Eminem and after D12 and they had that run, it looked like there was nothing else from Detroit commercially successful after that time period until recently with the Big Seans and the Dej Loafs and the T Grizzlies. So that's why I say somebody on the outside might look at it like, Detroit's cool, they're popping because of these recent commercial successes. When I say recent, I mean last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I got you, yep.
But the 4 or 5 years before that, it might have looked blank to somebody from the outside.
Exactly, and that's what you got to pay attention to, the non-consistency of artists that's coming out of the city. And when you think about other regions, west, east, and down south, the consistency of the artists, no matter how versatile they were or how different they were constantly coming out. And we had those big periods of time where we didn't have any artists coming out of the city. And a part of the reason is I truly believe that the people that were in the positions to do it weren't given enough opportunity to the people who deserved it in the city. You know what I mean? They didn't want to put their peers on or the next generation on. It hurts my heart when, you know what I'm saying, I hear a label go out of town to get talent. When these cats came up in the same circle we did, you know the talent's right here. You know, it's almost like a smack in the face, blasphemy, so to speak, you know.
Is it their responsibility to do that, though?
I feel it is. I feel it is, because the same people that backed your ass and told everybody else before you got the name that you got, like, he's good. You know what I'm saying? Your talent is only going to get you so far. You know, the streets are very prevalent in Detroit. Don't nobody get it twisted, so you can't pretend like being a street nigga and not gonna get called on it. Your ass gonna get called on it. If you're not, your ass we're gonna know it, you know? So, yes, when you get the city behind you and you doing good and you like, yeah, and you start making them empty promises, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do this. Okay, I use Eminem as an example. I can't be mad at him only to a certain degree, because when he first got on, he did put D12 together. That wasn't a group. That was a couple of cats from here, a couple of cats here, a cat here, and blah, 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 that all knew each other and said, we're going to form a group. So he did do something, but after D12, what? After Obi Trice, what? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We're talking about a multi-platinum, multi-millionaire. You can give $100,000 EP deals. It'll be a tax write-off and see if it pops. So yeah, they're obligated. You come out of the city, you're obligated to come back to your city and give back to the cats that's out here struggling. I wish I would get on and not come back to the cats who I know just as talented as I am, or even more talented than I am, and not give them a shot? And I can go to bed at night? No. And you're wrong if you're out here doing it, man. That's what the problem is. That's what the problem is. We don't put each other on. We got to put each other on. Detroit, we have to put each other on. You get on, put the next man on. That next man put 2 more people on. Them 2 put 4 on. It's a real easy process once we grasp the concept of it.
Now, we talked about the problem in Detroit. Right. Are you personally doing anything or have done to help fix it?
Yeah, well, I'm the president. So, and everybody respects that title, respects me. So yeah, I try to do my best to keep some form of unity amongst the kinship and the rest of the fellow MCs, whether they be male or female, but it gets frustrating. Definitely gets frustrating at times because you do so much on a positive level, and I have to say this because I fall prey to this a lot. You can't do this for people, go out your way for people and expect them to do it for you in return. If that's the case, then you shouldn't do it at all, including myself. So when I get frustrated because I'm out there, I'm always speaking about everybody. So when an opportunity arises, my name don't get thrown into a pot for whatever reason, I start to feel a certain type of way. But I start to realize that my blessing is going to come from somewhere else. And if I felt like that in the first place, I should have never did what I did for those people. So I try to keep that in mind now.